Good morning, everyone. We're just going to wait a minute or so to give people time to come in from the waiting room. For those of you who are just joining, you can go ahead and pop your name and say hello in the chat. Let us know where you're from and if you're with a school or with an organization. That way we can see who's here, and we'll get started in just a minute. Great, I see people still coming in. I see some familiar names. So good morning and welcome to the My Texas Future Learning Institute Session 1. We're really excited to be here today. We have a lot of our staff that's going to talk about My Texas Future. Thank you all for introducing yourselves in the chat. And if you're just popping in, let us know your name, role, and your organization. And I'm going to go over just a few things, housekeeping items before we officially get started. A couple of things just to keep in mind. Our team sends all of our materials, our links, our resources, and our recording in a follow-up email to everyone that has registered. So you don't have to worry about keeping track of links and things, although Jared from our team is going to drop links as we go through the session in the chat. Also, please add your questions that pop up to the Q&A box. It should be on the bottom toolbar or wherever you have your Zoom toolbar in Q&A. They do disappear sometimes from the chat. And folks that are on in our webinar today will answer some of those questions as we go throughout the session. But we can also keep track of that, track of those Q&A, your questions. And we have some time at the end to go over your questions and answer those live. And then just as a reminder too, this is a first of 4 sessions on My Texas Future. So we hope you will join us for the rest of the year. We have a couple of other sessions we'll talk about. So welcome to our first session of the My Texas Future Learning Institute, where your tomorrow starts today with My Texas Future and ApplyTexas. You'll also hear us use an acronym, which is MTF. We've just gotten used to using MTF as an acronym since we've been working on this project for so long. So that's what we're talking about. And we are really thrilled this morning to support your student success this year and beyond with all kinds of exciting features on My Texas Future this morning. So thank you all for joining us today. We have 90 minutes. We may or may not use that whole entire time, but we definitely want to dive into some of the features, some of which are relevant for your seniors. So My Texas Future is a new digital platform that provides resources that are tailored to the needs of your middle school and your high school students. So My Texas Future makes the career planning experience more personal, we hope, more meaningful, and also connects students to their goals and aspirations in their experience in the platform. And it also provides data on regional job demands in Texas, as well as real world earnings. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the session. So Andre, you can go to the next slide. So this is our Learning Institute, and MTF is connecting. We're going to talk today about how it connects learners with the resources that they need to plan their career goals as well as their educational path, and how that path aligns with their career goals. So learners in MTF can explore careers and college programs through our tools that have been built for Texas learners. So a couple of things about this session and also MTF in general. My Texas Future provides over 100 different degree plans to explore at institutions across the state. We've got over 500 careers with local and regional data about what those careers are, and over 50 articles and videos related to college and career preparation. And those are relevant to your students starting as early as the middle school grades. So the Higher Ed Coordinating Board in Texas OnCourse is offering this series of learning sessions. We're kicking this off, the first one this morning, to introduce My Texas Future to educators. So this series includes 4 90-minute learning events that are designed to provide a full comprehensive walkthrough of My Texas Future. So the next slide is something that you've already seen because you're already joining us here. So this is just a really great one-pager that describes all of the sessions and everything we're going to do within the Learning Institute. So we know it is back to school time. I know how busy it is. It's fall. It's the middle of September. So we really want to make sure that we cover everything you need. And when you join us, you're going to gain several different things. So I just want to highlight really quickly what participants will receive and what they will gain from coming to the Institute. And this is just in that box on the left. So we really want our participants to get in-depth information needed to use My Texas Future comprehensively with students, not just this year, but in future years as well. Students will keep their profile and it will build each year when they revisit MTF. We also want to give you all access to a new set of educator toolkits that include activities that you can do with your students using My Texas Future and tips on navigating the site. And then also in our sessions, we'll do a complete walkthrough of ApplyTexas. We want to talk a little bit about what direct admissions looks like in My Texas Future. And we'll also probably talk about the counselor suite as well. And everyone that comes to our sessions, we will award you a certificate with continuing professional education credit for your Texas certifications. Just a couple quick things. Who should attend? Everyone is welcome to attend the Learning Institute, and you don't have to, if you have colleagues you want to share this with, please encourage them to come. They don't have to come to all four, but we do encourage you to do so. So we recommend our learning sessions for counselors, advisors, Gear Up staff, CCMR staff, and also folks that work in higher education. And as I mentioned, we encourage you to come to all sessions if you can, but we know your schedules are really busy, so we will send the recordings and all of the materials to everyone that's registered. So session one, in today's session, we're going to cover the benefits of creating a learner profile and how that information will parallel the questions that are in ApplyTexas. So your seniors, or the class of 2025, will be the first ones to be able to self-report their admissions data and discover which Texas colleges and universities match their application profile. So we're going to do a live demo today of direct admissions. We will share the list of institutions that are participating in the direct admissions initiative and what this experience will look like for students using the site. So thank you for joining us. We're the Professional Learning and Engagement team. A lot of folks we know that are joining us this morning. My name's Laura Gugan, and I'm the Director of Professional Learning and Engagement. I'm just going to generally introduce my team so that we can jump in here. Andrea is Zoom piloting and sharing. She's our Senior Network Coordinator. And Lauren Disher, who put our resource document and a lot of these materials together, is our Professional Learning Coordinator. And Jared Garza is sharing links this morning and sends out all of our communication and promotion that you all received via email. And then this next slide, I'm going to just let our agency staff, our guest speakers, introduce themselves. So I'll kick it over to you, Amy.
Hi there. Thanks so much. My name's Amy Ziegner. I'm a user experience designer on the product team at the coordinating board. So I've helped to design the look and feel and the different interactions on some of the websites that we have here, and excited to share direct admissions with you today. I'll turn it over to Daniela.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela Carrillo. I am the program manager for both My Texas Future and Direct Admissions. I've worked previously in the world of admissions for over 7 years, so I'm very familiar with this world, and I'm really excited for the tools that we're able to present today.
And I'm Tina Woodings. I'm product operations manager over on the product team, and I head up analytics for our websites and also assist with user research.
Thank you all so much for joining us this morning. I know this was a group effort. We have a lot of other folks that work on My Texas Future that are not part of the webinar. I just want to highlight their work also. So this is our quick agenda for this morning. We're going to jump in here to My Texas Future and talk a little bit about the learner profile and the career exploration. And then Tina's going to show us what My Texas Future, what it looks like for someone in the K-12 space, or if you're an educator in K-12 or working with your students. So you'll see that live demo. And then since direct admissions is going to be live very soon, Amy's going to cover the student experience for direct admissions and what that looks like. Today, we're going to highlight the High School Counselor and Advisor Toolkit. We have a couple of other toolkits that we'll highlight in later sessions. You all have access to all of these, but we want to show you what's in the toolkit that you can use. And then we have some bright ideas from folks that come to our webinars. So you all share great ideas, and we usually integrate those into a session. And then we already have some My Texas Future content in the Texas On-Course Academy. So we'll spotlight that and then provide some time for question and answer at the end. And I'll kick it over to Daniela.
All right. Well, thank you, Laura. I'm really excited to introduce you all to My Texas Future. Really, this tool was created to support our students in middle and high school trying to navigate their future career paths, as well as our adult learners that may be returning to school or transitioning between careers. Next slide. So really looking at the core of what is My Texas Future, really it's a tool that should allow students to explore their interests in both within Texas and also within in-demand careers. It will allow students to identify programs that lead to careers of interest and also provide them tools that will allow them to access step-by-step college and career action plans. So it's a really great resource for a lot of different opportunities for different students. Next slide. So looking at what our vision is for My Texas Future, we really wanted to design it for all types of Texans, whether you're a working age student or whether you're a secondary student. In 2023, we really created My Texas Future for working age Texans to connect directly with institutions and go back to school. This is a perfect tool for adult learners who want to upskill or reskill. Perhaps maybe they're looking for certifications, or they have their associate's degree and they want to obtain their bachelor's degree. This is really a curated experience that is live for them now in My Texas Future, and they can start that exploration right away. This spring, we've been working on streamlining and planning the application process for secondary students. So we'll talk more about this in detail as we go throughout the presentation. But we really wanted to create a curated experience for those students who are applying to college and planning out their degree plans. We want My Texas Future to be a one-stop for them as well as they're navigating the college process. Next slide, please. So we have a number of different resources that we have integrated data from onto My Texas Future. As you can see here, we've really pulled a lot of information from the U.S. Department of Labor, as well as the Texas Workforce Commission for our career data. And we're really integrating our education data sources as well into My Texas Future. So students and both students and counselors can guarantee that all the information that is on the My Texas Future platform is credible and also being up to date with the most recent data that we have available to us. Next slide. So individuals are able to really start creating a My Texas Future account today. For those on the call today, you're able to create a test student account. This will really allow you as an individual that is supporting these students to see what this platform looks like and take a look at what the student experience looks like. So when keeping in mind when creating a test account, feel free to include the word test in there so that way we're aware that it is a test account, use your institutional or personal email that works best for you. It will have a verification screen, so make sure that you do use an email that does work where you're able to access that information. When you're selecting, if you are going to be supporting a 12th middle or high school student, make sure that you do select the middle or high school student section, as the platform does look a little bit differently for adult learners as it does for middle or high school students. Next slide. So speaking about the learner profile, this is a little bit of what our learner profile does look like. Once our users have let us know that they want to navigate the site as a secondary student or an adult learner, they are given an opportunity to create and start building this learner profile. This learner profile also allows for students to be connected to all the different opportunities within My Texas Future. As a counselor with a test account, you can also create your own profile and navigate the site as one of your students might. So this might be a really great way for you to start to learn how this tool works, and that way you can start navigating your students through this process. Next slide, please. One of the unique features about My Texas Future is that we have integrated ApplyTexas questions within the overall profile. So this does allow students to grow with the tool as they move along through the process of their high school and middle school careers. As they go through the process, they're able to continuously update this information. And so once they do reach a certain grade level or age that they're able to use ApplyTexas to apply to college, they'll have that information already at their fingertips without having to go back and look up that information again. They'll have that accessible here within My Texas Future. So this is a great opportunity for us to demo what My Texas Future looks like. And so I will pass it on to Tina Woodings, who will be providing that demonstration.
Thanks, Daniela. So before I dive in, I've got a question for y'all. What is the most challenging thing that your students are figuring out for their next steps after high school? Now, I know maybe some of you would love to click all of the above, but we're really curious, like, what is that number one thing you keep hearing from them? Looks like, well, initially, how to pay for school was the front runner. Still seems to be ahead, but only slightly. So MTF will help you when your students have these issues, and that's what we'd like to walk you through today. So I'm going to navigate over now to, okay. Can y'all see the K-12 home screen?
Not yet, Tina. I think, Andrea, are you able to stop sharing and then try it again, Tina?
Yeah, I stopped sharing.
Okay.
Perfect.
So now a good place to start with your students is, you probably have a variety of students. Some very clearly know what they want to study, what they want as their career. But you probably have other students that are not really sure. So a good place to start is our career interest quiz. And I'm going to present as if I'm working with a student. So Amy is going to be my student for today. And so when you start the interest quiz, you can select as many or as few items on the screen. So Amy, can you tell me on this page what you would select?
Sure. Yeah, when I look at these, I think developing a new medicine is interesting, and helping others through hard times. I'd pick that one too.
Okay.
And I think here, giving career advice sounds good, and maybe creating charts and graphs. I think of all these, I'd say helping people recover from an injury. And then I'd go on. There's a couple I like here. I'd say using evidence to solve a crime, painting, That sounds nice. And I'd say volunteering too. And I think when I look at this one, I guess as a former teacher, I'd say teaching at a school and managing a large project. Yeah, those are the two I'd pick.
Okay, so here are the results that have come up for Amy. And I'm curious, Amy, if these results surprise you at all.
Yes and no. Like I said, former teacher, so education and training makes a lot of sense to me. Was never particularly interested in like the health professions, but I'm kind of curious now seeing something like health science come up. That's one I think I'd like to know a little bit more about what my options are there.
So if you scroll to the bottom of the screen, we present the top careers for each of these career clusters. And these are prioritized by projected growth percentage. So Amy, I think you said you were interested kind of in the health science. Is that the one you'd want to explore more?
Yeah, this one I definitely would like to dig into a little bit more. And I guess seeing a couple of different nursing roles here. But I think I'd like to learn a little bit more about the first one, acute care nurses,
Okay, great.
and what exactly that
So
means.
So I'm currently logged in, and one thing that's helpful about having an account is that you can favorite and save careers and programs. We'll get to that in the future and go back to them. The other thing I want to mention is in the counselor and advisor toolkit that you'll receive after this presentation, there is an activity based around this. So let's jump into view details. So what's nice about this interface is that you can actually customize based on what county you're in. So here we're in Travis County. So we can click on that and we can see, oh, it adjusted a little bit, but here's the median salary. We've got the range. Also, what's very helpful for students is sort of understanding their monthly cost of living. They might not have experience understanding like realities once they leave school, if they move out of their parents' house. Amy, do you have any thoughts about like reaction when you see the income needed and the salary?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting to see, kind of the upper and lower end of what, someone could make as this kind of nurse. So I think that's really helpful. And I'm kind of curious to know more about what these types of nurses do, like how this nursing might be different from another role.
Yeah, so down here we've got a task list for this career, and this hopefully will give your students an idea about this career. And we also have a section that talks about knowledge they'll need. So if mathematics is on the list and they're not into mathematics, maybe they can say, maybe I need to look at some other careers that are similar that might not have math. But again, if they're only flagging like one of these many items, like encourage your student, like, hey, probably in that role, you could focus on, another section of the knowledge you'll need. So let's go to, Amy, you've decided I want to be an acute care nurse. So let's check out some programs.
So if I was interested in going to school for this, but wanted to stay like in the Austin area, would I be able to look for places where I could go kind of close to home?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of filters that you can select, and some are even hidden here.
Mhm.
So yes, you can sort by distance. You can even search by school if you already have an idea of where you want to go. If you know, I definitely want a 4-year degree, I want a 2-year degree, you can also search by that. And this section is sorted by average cost per year. So looking at this average tuition, it's going to go from low to high. So Amy, I'm going to ask you, I think I'd like to compare. Have you compare some of these programs?
Mhm.
Again, like favorite, so you can come back to it.
Mhm. Kind of noticing that there's just some more information in, for instance, this, like there was a 2-year program just above at Austin Community College, an associate's degree. So I'd be interested in comparing that one with a bachelor's degree, maybe at a different school.
Okay. Okay, so I found this one, so maybe we'll try that.
Mhm.
Let's
I'd also
see.
be interested in the program there at UT too, the one just below, I think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
That one? Okay.
Yes, that one looks good.
So here, what's nice about this page is you can kind of get to the nuts and bolts of differences between programs and help make your decision, especially when it comes to time and cost. So it might be a good exercise to work with your students. You see that, okay, I've got 4 years to get to a 4-year degree, but the tuition cost is $10,000. Oh, but look at my median salary, 70. Okay, here I'm making just below it. So you're kind of playing this balancing game between salary after graduation, average tuition, and average time to graduation. Now, average time to graduation, take that with a grain of salt because, different students have different circumstances. So if someone's going to a 2-year institution and they're going full time, most likely a lot of those students are working and getting their degree. So that's why this is showing longer than 2 years.
Mhm.
So Amy, based on these numbers, like what are you thinking between these programs? What are some thoughts that come to your head?
Gosh, it's just really interesting, I think, to see that the median salary after graduation for a 2-year program at ACC versus like a 4-year program at UT is relatively close. So I think it would make me wonder, like, if I were able to do like a 2-year program full time, if that might be kind of a good starting place for me, since that median salary after graduation seems pretty close
Mhm,
to the 4-year.
mhm.
So definitely gives me some good things to think about.
So I want to go back to this because we never went into the details for this program. You can get a lot more information about the institution, including a direct link to the website of the college. You can even find more programs at this school that are related. And then again, shows some related careers here. So there's a lot of exploration that can be done within the Program Explorer. There's also another activity around programs in the Counselor and Advisor Toolkit, which we'll talk about later. And there's there's 2 more links I want to point out. One has to do with the estimated net price calculator.
Oh, which I think I see underneath the tuition costs, Tina, a little higher up on the page.
Where am I? Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I
Here
noticed
it is.
average tuition. Yeah, there's that link to calculate your price per year.
So this allows students to put in information that's like relevant to them, and then they actually get their price per year. And also from here, I can click and start my application to this institution. This takes me to ApplyTexas. One other feature I want to show y'all is the college and career action plans. And this is basically a step-by-step instruction for your students. So let's go ahead and check out 12th grade. So here are the things that students need to be thinking about in their fall semester. Retake entrance exams, and they can kind of go through this list. It's a combination of activities and then also articles to read. And I think you saw on the previous page, we have one for each grade level starting in 7th grade. I'm going to talk again a little bit about the learner profile. So I filled this out, a little bit about me, pretending like I'm in 12th grade. And as you can see here, we've listed or we've labeled the questions that show up in ApplyTexas. So it's things like your education. So what previous schools did you go to? If you already have a part-time job, your extracurricular volunteer activities. And this shows up in ApplyTexas in the core questions. And it very much mirrors the learner profile. So you can basically just dump whatever you've entered here into your the core questions of your application. We would like to encourage students to start that already their freshman and sophomore year, because they're going to be receiving awards and honors, maybe also participating in volunteer and extracurricular activities. And it's really hard to think, oh, what did I do 3 years ago? And here at the top, I can go back and check out my latest career quiz, any of the things that I favorited. So lots of scholarship articles on this site, all the careers, programs, and I can jump right back in to what I looked at previously. And this global navigation is the best way to find these items. So these things in white, these are all articles, and these are tools in the blue boxes here. So Andrea, let's go back to the slide deck.
Yes. And as I'm doing that, quick question for you, Tina. I already know the answer, but if you want to retake the career quiz, can you do that?
Yes, you can retake it as many times as you like. Yeah, it's kind of fun to play a little bit around with it and see if you get a different response. But
Are you guys able to see?
Yes.
so just a little tip when logging in, we do require two-factor authentication, and the email that you'll receive has this the CB B2C prod in the subject line. It's not spam. It's the code you need to get in. You'll need to verify within 10 minutes or the code expires. And as you're going through this process, make sure you click on verify code and not continue on the verification code page. That wraps up my demo, and I'd like to pass it back to Daniela.
Thanks, Tina.
Hey,
Great
Tina.
job. So just kind of to recap what both Tina's demo and my introduction to My Texas Future. There are some upcoming improvements to the overall My Texas Future website. We really want to stress that our goal is to make My Texas Future a one-stop shop for students. As mentioned, we want My Texas Future to be an exploratory tool and a collection of their ideas. So students can grow with My Texas Future, really use this as a tool, a portal to save their information as they progress through their high school career. And so that way they don't have to start from scratch the moment that they start an application. They have a platform that will allow them to make well-informed decisions that align with their goals, but also to save their information as they continue their progress throughout high school and into college students, or to just search for different career opportunities within Texas. Really, we want to save time for students, and one of the main resources is you as the counselors guiding them through this process, and we encourage you to explore this tool for yourselves as well. Next slide. So moving on to direct admissions. So going through My Texas Future, direct admissions is a part of the My Texas Future platform. When students decide to create a learner profile, they will be asked their grade level. If the student does indicate that they are a 12th grader or in 12th grade, it will indicate to them whether they want to learn more about direct admission opportunities. These direct admission opportunities will present themselves as a list format based off of the information that the student does provide. So next slide, please. So this graphic does show a little bit about what the student experience looks like for students on direct admissions. Right now, we are set to launch direct admissions towards the beginning of October. And this will be a great opportunity for students who are currently the class of 2025 to participate and learn a little bit more about the options that they will have for themselves within the state of Texas. So when a student creates their learner profile in My Texas Future, they indicate that they're in 12th grade. They will immediately get a pop-up that will mention, please learn more about direct admissions. If they decide to use this platform, they opt into it, and this allows them to see the list of schools based off of the self-reported academic data that they submit. Once they submit the self-reported academic data, they will get a notification of admission to the different types of institutions that we partner with to learn a little bit more about their institutions. That is not the final step. The next step for students is really to complete ApplyTexas for the program and scholarship eligibility. The student may have direct admissions to the institution of their choice, but they still have to complete their application in order to apply to their major and for scholarship eligibility. Once that goes through, the institutions will verify their information with the official documents submitted within ApplyTexas, and that way the student can get the official offer letter from the institution of choice. So moving on to the next slide. So as promised, here is a list of our institutions that are currently participating in direct admissions. These institutions are primarily focused on this first iteration to be the public four-year institutions. So far, we have about 20 plus different institutions participating with us. So lots of great opportunities for students to self-input their information and see where they may qualify for direct admission. Next slide. This is just a continuing list of our institutions participating in direct admissions as well. So once we do launch this platform within My Texas Future, students will be able to actively see this list of participating institutions, as well as to be able to use this feature. Next slide. So really the main important part is what is the communication that we're providing to students. So this is not a comprehensive list of institutions where students may be admitted. We're very clear with them at the very beginning of what does direct admissions mean, and that even if students don't get any results of any institutions based off of the information that they self-report, they can still definitely apply holistically. And we definitely do encourage that for students who may not receive any sort of institutions on their list based off the self-reported data. We also very much highlight that they still have to complete their application to receive a program of choice and scholarship eligibility. We're working very closely with each institutional partner to make sure that they understand the tool, but also to validate their data along the way to make sure that students are getting accurate information. As a reminder, this is self-reported data that students are inputting. So as K through 12 counselors, we definitely do encourage you all to work with your students to make sure that they're inputting information into the platform that is accurate so they can receive accurate results. At the end of the day, all will be validated by each institution. So moving on to the next slide. So I will pass it on to Amy, who will be presenting our live demo of direct admissions.
Wonderful. Thanks so much. So as Daniela mentioned, we are currently working on adding this new feature to My Texas Future. It will be released within the next month. And today I am going to share with you a preview of what students will see once direct admissions is live. So this is something that will be visible to students who are visiting our K-12 pages. And here you'll see I'm showing an example of My Texas Future's K-12 homepage. And as a student scrolls down through different options on the site, they'll notice that there is this call out to see where you're accepted before applying and learn more about direct admissions. As mentioned, students who create an account who indicate that they are rising seniors or current seniors will also receive a prompt to visit this same page and learn more about direct admissions too. So there are going to be a variety of nudges within the site to make sure that students who are really at that point in the application process or getting ready to apply will be drawn to learn more about this opportunity. Now, when a user clicks here, they'll be taken to this landing page that provides some more details about what direct admissions is and what the benefits of opting into direct admissions are. So it lets them know that by providing their academic information, they'll be able to see where they qualify for admission and have confidence that they will be accepted at an institution that accepts that academic criteria. It lets them know how it works, that first you need to opt in, agreeing to share some of your information with our participating institutions, providing those academic details, and then you'll be provided with a list of schools where you qualify. All of those institutions that you saw in the slides are listed on the page here. And it also provides some guidance to students around, how these different criteria could factor in to receiving those admissions options. But if I scroll up and click on this button where it says see your acceptances, this takes students to the opt-in process. So the first thing that they need to do is agree to sharing their information with participating schools. So they will need to click that they agree to the terms of service for direct admissions before moving on to the next screen. And here's where they can provide details about their academic record. The class rank happens to be pre-populated in my example here, but this is something a student would input for themselves. And based on the number that they enter out of their class size, it will let them know what quartile they fall into for their class rank. And then they'll be able to self-report their GPA. So if I click here, I can type in a GPA, indicate a graduation plan, also provide any test scores, whether that be SAT or ACT. And I'm just going to fill in an SAT score as an example. So students can provide as much or as little information as they have available to them. And this is something that after opting in, they could go back and update at later points in time if these details change. So when I click finish, now I'm directed to this page that lets me know what institutions will accept me via direct admissions. I'm able to filter down my list by location type, whether that is a city school, a school in a rural area. I could input a specific location like Austin or Dallas and how close to that city I want to be, and have the list change based on distance. But this is an example of what it might look like if a student had academic information that qualified them at quite a few different institutions. Going up to the top of the list for a moment, I'm just going to click View Details at Angelo State University so I can learn a little bit more. So this page just lets students know, hey, you're accepted here, but the important thing to do is take the next step. You need to fill out an application and ApplyTexas in order to receive that official offer. And as Daniela pointed out, that's how you can qualify for scholarships, as well as be admitted to specific programs. So that's really an essential step to make sure that you go over to ApplyTexas and formally submit that application. But this page also provides the student with some more details about the school and what kinds of programs are available at that institution that might be of interest to them. And as I mentioned, a student could update their information if some of those details change. All of those academic details live within their learner profile. So if they go to the learner profile, you'll see that there is a section, there will be a section on their academic record. So they can click edit, they could modify their class rank, they could change their GPA. In this case, let's say I change my SAT score. Once I save that, it will be updated in my profile and I can revisit that list of acceptances to see if I have any different offers. I also want to walk you through another scenario where a student's academic information does not qualify them at an institution, any institution. So I'm just going to pull that up just so you see what students would experience in that case. So I'm going to quickly go back to the beginning. I'm going to click on the link to see my acceptances and opt in again. But now in this scenario, let's say my class rank is a little bit different. I fall down in the 4th quartile. I'm going to enter a GPA of 2.25. I'm going to enter an SAT score of 1140. And when I click finish here, it seems that my current academic information does not qualify me for direct admissions at the moment. So students will see a screen that looks like this, if that's the case, if they have no results. But we're encouraging them to keep going, all right? Reminding them that they can still qualify for admissions right through the holistic admissions process, right? That there are many other factors besides a student's academic record, such as their extracurriculars, their essays, and letters of recommendation that enable them to qualify for admissions at different schools. And it also just provides some tips, such as working to improve their test scores or improve their grades, so they may end up with more options as the school year goes on. But those are really the key screens that students will see when this feature is live. Those are the steps that students need to progress through. So I am just going to pause here so that we can revisit the slide deck and keep things moving along.
Thank you, Amy.
Great. So I think direct admissions is really exciting, especially for the seniors. And then, of course, you can put, once your students, we encourage juniors when they have that class rank to put that information in there, but there's really nothing that's restricting a student from trying that earlier. So I think it's a really exciting thing for this class and future classes to visit My Texas Future for direct admissions. So one of the things we heard from our network of folks doing college admissions, either in K-12s or higher ed, and I would say mostly our K-12 audience, is that if we roll out a new resource, just like My Texas Future, folks, educators in general, really are looking for something to, how to implement this resource really quickly, kind of turnkey in a classroom. Whether you're a counselor or advisor, you could be a CTE teacher, or you might just be doing some career exploration with middle school or high school students. So because we talked about direct admissions in today's session, and we're talking primarily to high school folks, we have a high school counselor and advisor toolkit that we're sharing. So if you want to go pop to the next slide, Andrea, we're just going to highlight some of the features of the toolkit. And Jared just dropped a link. We have a landing page that has access to all of our toolkits. And these were built this summer. We really wanted to get them finished quickly to roll out the beginning of the school year and allow educators to implement My Texas Future quickly and like on a regular basis. So a couple of things I want to highlight on the toolkit, and you'll have an opportunity to go through this. There are 6 activities really pretty much in each toolkit to help as an educator just do the types of things that Tina and Amy showed you, especially through their career quiz, the career explorer. There's a build a resume section, and also connects you to outside resources like Map My Grad or Texas Reality Check as an example in terms of lifestyle and salary. So there's lots of different places in My Texas Future where we connect you to outside resources. So there's 6 activities. They're kind of mini activities, and lots of different ways to be flexible in that kind of instruction. So you could do an activity in 20 or 25 minutes in an advisory, or you could give it, you could do it in a class period of 90 minutes and take a deep dive into career exploration and do a little bit more. So one of those things that also the toolkit includes is milestones. So learning milestones and things that students will do to get them further through the My Texas Future profile and the experience. The toolkit also has essential questions, the materials you need, and how to prep for these activities so that when we create a resource, this is not something that educators have to go and do, because we realize that that takes a lot more time. Lesson plans, whether you're a teacher, a counselor, or administrator, or a facilitator, take a really long time. So this is why we've created the toolkits. So the next slide has just an example of what the beginning of this looks like. So you can see there's the 6 activities. That navigation bar that Tina and Amy showed you has lots of really different, well, the key milestones that we want students to do in My Texas Future over time, right? So you don't have to take just one class period and do everything in My Texas Future. It's really not built for a student to experience that in such a way. So taking some time to do some self-reflection and thinking about what interests are and personality traits. There's some sections there you can see on that 3rd page, an overview and what the purpose is. Sometimes if you're wanting to have class time with students, or your teachers are looking for just objectives in terms of career exploration, there's a lot of great information here that you can show your curriculum department chairs, your curriculum department, as to why you would want to use My Texas Future in a variety of ways in middle schools and high schools. So that is exactly what the toolkit looks like. It's there for you to download. And the next slide is going to show just some of the details that are within an activity. So this is that career interest quiz that Tina showed us with Amy's career interests, which we all know change over time. So if you're doing this with your 8th graders and then a student revisits this as a junior, some of their favorites and their career interests may have completely changed. So they keep that profile. It's not something that rolls over or starts over from scratch. It's something that they can start at 13 and keep through graduation and beyond. So this is an example of that career assessment activity, and just really quickly how to, conclusions, how to reflect with students, either in a group format, considerations. This is built for all students, so there's interest there in military service. And then this next slide has some of the career stages that are sort of the framework for the experience in My Texas Future. So this is that framework or roadmap in terms of a student's journey. So this roadmap here just talks about the different stages and the activities that match with those stages. So, exploring interests, and there's some flexibility here on what grades you want to start with. This particular toolkit is really geared for folks that are working in high schools. So exploring those career options, investigating that career planning, and then that academic planning with the Program Explorer that Tina showed us, and comparing different programs and what they look like, and connecting with coursework, and then making decisions throughout their experience. So this is a core component of the toolkits in each of the toolkits. So the activities match up to that roadmap, and there's lots of different things that you can pick from in the toolkit to work with your students right away. And then just really quickly, because I know we've covered a lot of information, if you want to go ahead and share in the chat, just after what we've shown you, after our live demos, how might you envision yourself using My Texas Future with your students? We always really like to hear ideas from the field and share those. And you can just put those in the chat. Yeah, I've shared a few ideas on, advisory lessons. Many folks that are doing counseling lessons with core teachers, sharing with professors. These are some great ideas. Yes, this is a great resource for your AVID students. Absolutely. AVID elective teachers. I think also CTE, and maybe combining this with some course registration, preparing to create ApplyTexas accounts, and creating a 4-year plan at our early college high school to prepare for high school graduation. Yeah, and it's great to hear that you think the direct admission feature looks awesome. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too when Tina was showing the ApplyTexas questions. I think I remember working with seniors, and that ApplyTexas profile can feel very overwhelming to do senior year if you're trying to think back of what you did in 8th grade and, how many years you've been in Honor Society. Yes, conjunction with ApplyTexas, starting earlier in ApplyTexas. I see project lead the way. That's great. Yeah, CTE teacher and course registration. Yeah, so we'll keep these ideas. We get a transcript of the chat. We'll make a list. Some of these have already maybe come through in some bright ideas, which Lauren will share. Yes, advisory time, 7th through 12th grade. These are great ideas. Thank you all so much. All right, Andrea, do you want to go? I'm going to turn it over to Lauren Disher from our team to jump into those bright ideas.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you. And thank you all to everyone who participated in that question. I love to see how you're already envisioning how to use My Texas Future and direct admissions with your students. I think that's awesome. And yes, now we are going to head into our bright ideas for today's session. So just as a quick reminder, and for those of you who are familiar with our sessions, we always like to include bright ideas, which are your ideas. So during the registration process for this session, we asked, what do you currently use for career exploration with your students? And you guys had some awesome responses. Here are the programs that were mentioned several times as we read through those. Texas Reality Check, Big Future, School Links, Naviance, College Board, Career Cruising, ONET, Career One Stop, Focus 2, and Zello. And these are all amazing and awesome career exploration tools. And guys, the best part is that My Texas Future uses data from some of these platforms. So as Daniela mentioned earlier in the presentation, My Texas Future actually pulls information from some of these websites like Career One Stop, ONET, Texas Reality Check to really help support the data you see within the Career or Program Explorer. So with My Texas Future, you get that rich data from the platforms that you're already using, familiar with, and that you love. So we also know that many of our districts across Texas do not currently have a college and career platform with data in it for students to access. So My Texas Future was built to really provide all Texas students with that rich career and program data so it can complement, what you already use in your districts or just help support those efforts. Now, the second question that we asked was, are you aware of automatic admissions policies for universities? So guys, we reviewed the responses and there were 207 responses, and we really love going through your answers. But 13% of you said, no, you're not aware of automatic admissions policies. 44% of you said that you were somewhat familiar with automatic admissions policies. And 36% of you said that, yes, you were aware of automatic admissions policies. So thank you again for your responses. And our goal is that with direct admissions feature in My Texas Future, your students can really discover which universities they're automatically accepted into, as you heard from Amy and Daniela. So, the program, direct admissions, uses those parameters set by universities and then the data that your students self-report to let them know which universities they will be accepted into, which is awesome. So now that we've taken a look at, direct admissions and My Texas Future and our bright ideas, we are going to look at our Texas OnCourse Academy Spotlight for this session. So now, for those of you that are familiar with Texas OnCourse Academy, and those for you that just need a quick refresher, the Academy is our online professional learning resource for college and career advising. It is free for all Texas educators and will help you prepare for any student for post-secondary as a post-secondary option. So now to get to the Academy, you just go to our website, Texas OnCourse, simply click on the Tools drop-down menu and select Texas OnCourse Academy on that page. So what you're seeing here on the screen is just that landing page. And if you click on that pink button, Educators Register or Log In, that's how you register for the Academy, or you can log in. So we're going to talk today about our My Texas Future module, which is brand new. So if you want to kind of do just a deeper dive into My Texas Future, just take a look at it for yourself. You can go to the Academy, go into our Holistic College Advising course, locate the My Texas Future module, and find an overview of features and resources available in My Texas Future. So now this module has actually been recently updated to really reflect that new K through 12 content available on My Texas Future. And guys, we are actually currently creating direct admissions content. So stay tuned for that. And the direct admissions content can be found in the following modules: the My Texas Future module, ApplyTexas, ACT, SAT, and researching post-secondary options. So we're working hard right now to get all that information into the Academy so that you can find it there as well, and you can learn more about it and just about the process. So stay tuned because it will be updated and in there soon. So now I'm going to turn it over to Jared, who is going to talk about our professional learning series.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to our Texas On-Course Professional Learning Series. The Texas On-Course Professional Learning Series is a free digital learning opportunity for Texas middle school and high school educators focusing on college and career planning. It occurs on the second Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can connect with your colleagues and learn from expert guest speakers on relevant counseling and advising topics. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the schedule here in the chat right now. Then also our next session, which occurs on October 8th, it'll be over advising students with disabilities. We will discuss transition planning and an overview of legal requirements under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. And in addition, during our session, we will provide methods to engage family, community, and campus teams for special education students. We hope to see y'all there. We also have a network newsletter. So the Texas On-Course Network newsletter is pretty much designed or has monthly topics designed to guide educators throughout the school year. It used to be called the Texas On-Course Educator Playbook, but over the summer it kind of went through a refresher and has transformed into what is called the Texas On-Course Network newsletter now. Our next newsletter, which will be released on October 2nd, will cover new dual credit resources created by the Texas On-Course team. And I will go ahead and drop the link as well to register for that newsletter. And also follow My Texas Future on Instagram. The My Texas Future Instagram page is really informational. You can find tools, resources, and information to help your students chart their career path. Post includes tips for creating a resume, benefits of attending community college, and things to consider when job searching after graduating college. And now I'm going to pass it back over to Laura.
Sure, thanks, Jared. So I just want to highlight, we're wrapping up session 1 here, and session 2 is coming up in November. So we have 2 of our sessions in the fall semester and 2 in the spring semester. So we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into the college and career action plans that Tina showed us in the live demo. Those are a really great step-by-step list of action items starting in 7th grade for things that they should do during their 7th grade year and beyond. And they're broken down by semester. So milestones in My Texas Future, things that they should experience, and also things that we want them to do, like take assessments, for example. We will also dive in more toward with the Program Explorer and take a closer look at those degree programs, what features are involved in My Texas Future, any updates that we've had. And that session is November 21st. And we've actually, we've enrolled everyone, since this is kind of a whole learning institute. You don't have to register for this. We're going to register everyone that came today manually. So you'll get those reminders and you'll be able to join us for session 2. We'll also cover a different toolkit and perhaps go over the teacher toolkit, which is for teachers and administrators. So we hope you join us for November and also our sessions in the spring. So as we mentioned at the beginning, we always try to give everyone all of our resources in one place. So if you just scan that QR code, that is all of the resources and all of the links that we've dropped during the session. So everything is right there. If for whatever reason you don't want to do this right now, we will follow up with an email that has all of this information and our recording and a quick summary for you within a couple of days. Okay, I know we had a couple of questions that folks were answering in the chat. We're in webinar mode, so everybody is muted, but if you want to go ahead and drop any questions in the Q&A, we're happy to answer anything that you have about My Texas Future or ApplyTexas or anything related to the session that we had today. I'm going to pop over to the Q&A and just see. So far, there's no open questions.
Laura, I just want to address a common question that I've been seeing about direct admissions. So as of right now, direct admissions is only available for high school students. As we continue to progress with the development and the different iterations of direct admissions, one day we may see more opportunities for community colleges or two-year institutions to participate. At this time, we're only working with four-year public institutions as we launch this product. But we will definitely be in contact with institutions once we do develop further iterations of direct admissions and partnerships.
Thank you, Daniela, for addressing that live. That makes a lot of sense for there to be questions about that.
I do see another question about direct admissions here. So when will direct admissions be going live? We will be hopefully launching sometime in October here. We will definitely be in contact once this feature does go live on My Texas Future. We're
Yes.
currently in the testing process with all our institutions to make sure that the data is correct.
Yes, great question, Wendy, and we will send everyone an email. Perfect. If any other questions pop up, we have a few more minutes and we'll stay on. While you're still here, if you don't mind scanning this QR code, it's very, very brief, but we do review your feedback and design our sessions for what you all need. So if you could just take that really quick, brief survey, we would really appreciate it. And we are excited to see you all in November as well as in the spring. Great. I don't see any other questions. So thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy your fall.